You didn't know? Oh, somebody!
What up? What up? I'm back. Fantasy Football Hustler coming at you with fantasy news today. Here with the man Bogard Scott, free repping the GMM Network.
Hey, we're more like a collaborative conglomerate these days, but I love that the GMM network and what have you has been able to rock with you on this season, man. And we're not done yet. Man, we got a lot of big things coming in the future and starting tonight, man. You know what I mean? We got, we're taking a break from our normal playmaker schedule, and we got an incredible new podcast coming to you guys. I'll let you tell them about it, Huss.
Oh, yeah. So we've been teasing this one for a little while. It's called Movies and Munchies. It is going to be tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're doing a Christmas movie breakdown, marathon, whatever you want to call it. We're just going to be talking about some of our favorite Christmas movies, talking about some of the favorite scenes, things like that, showing a couple clips of the movies, getting you guys involved, getting our heads a little bit away from fantasy football, because this is like the only day this week we're like not going to, tomorrow, back to business for all the week 16 people who made it. Like Jake, I won the semifinals. Need some help, Hustler. Let's get it, bro. Let's get it. Yeah. We'll get to the questions here in a little bit. Just want to shout out everyone real quick. The Doe up in the building. Second Take Extra in the building.
My first record label was called the Dojo Productions, but it was dough like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Big Kong says Hustler activated off COVID IR, off flu IR or something. I mean, today's the first day that I was like, okay to get out of bed in the morning.
Everybody kept throwing the COVID on you, huh? He's like, hold on, everybody. I just don't feel well. He's like, yeah, he got COVID for sure. Like, everyone's like,
well, and even like, there's even sometimes I'm like tricking myself. I'm like, dang, I can't even taste this food. And I tell my wife, I'm like, dang, is it bad that I can't taste this food? And she was like, well, wait, did you taste the elderberry juice that you drank a little bit ago? And I was like, yeah. She's like, okay, see?
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like, it's like, hold on, give me a cup of vinegar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me see what I do.
But that's how out of it I was the last couple days. I didn't even want to, I was out of it. Didn't even want to be on camera.
Hey, so man, good. You know what I'm saying? But, as a man of the people, people's champ, even in some circles, you know what I mean? You were still here racking. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No breaks on this show. And who else up in here? Chase up in here. What up, bro? Say what up, gang?
What up, Chase?
Let's see. Yeah, Big BS said that's what's up. Always down for movies and munchies. Hell yeah, man. What could be better? Everyone loves smoking and just watching movies and eating munchies at home. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to hang out and talk some Christmas movies, get real nostalgic.
Yeah, or munchies and movies to our dyslexic fans out there.
Yeah, whichever.
JC Money.
Yeah, whichever.
JC Money.
JC Money is the man.
Yeah. He really pushed that munchies and movies out. He's like, what about munchies and movies?
Yeah, he was really trying. All right. Well, let's get into some of this news, and let's see who put it in here first. Life and Sports Talk with Jake put it in first. Brandon Cooks. He has been added to the COVID reserve list this morning.
If you dare. Nico Collins.
Oh, man. I don't know if I have the stones.
Something like that. Reverend Jordan. They've been kind of ass against the tight end here. I know Travis Kelce is the tight end of tight ends, but I mean that's the most recent example. That middle of the field just be a glaring hole for them. That Chargers defense.
What up, Big Frank?
But I will say the Chargers are like one of my favorite streaming options this week, and I'm a little nervous because I picked a lot of Chargers up last week, in anticipating this week. And here I am, and I'm like, man, Judge Davis Mills Lanes, man. He, you know what I mean? Like, he just, he's been, for fantasy purposes, pleasantly surprising the past month.
He's been all right. Definitely not as bad as advertised in the beginning of the season. That's for sure. Because in the beginning of the season, Man,
Been better than Dak this past month.
Yeah. I mean,
That's crazy, right?
Dak's falling off. Someone asked me, someone showed me like their waiver wire and was like, hey, would you start any of these guys over Dak? And one of the guys was Jimmy G. And I was like, damn, like, as crazy as it sounds, I think I'm going Jimmy G over Dak versus Atlanta.
He did better. He did better than Dak.
So it's crazy the way that things are shaping out. That's why everybody just needs to remember that start your studs shit. Like, I mean, when it works out, when you sit your stud and they ball out, like that's one thing.
Where's TD when we need him on? Because that's one of his mottos. You know what I mean? I mean, I get that, but it's also like the ways of the old. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying this to knock TD whatsoever. I'm just saying like it's one of the more cliche sayings that like, you know what I mean? That like, if you really want to win, sometimes you got to make those decisions.
Yeah. And it's not easy. Like that's the thing. That's why start your studs is a thing, because that's the easy way. Play who got you to the dance.
Yeah,
people,
but sometimes
people who say that for sure never lost because of that reason.
Yeah, I was about to say
championship multiple times for that.
I'm playing you in the hard to start Superflex for a chance to go to the title game, and I watched you, Frankenstein your roster all the way up to this point. So
I don't even know how it happened. I thought I was dead in like week 13, 14, and somehow we just keep on ticking.
Well, it's when the unstoppable force meets the immovable object this week. Yeah. Well, who is who?
I think what it is, I think it's karma, because once I got all those injuries in that league, everyone just started sending me the most bullshit trades for like my best players, like the most bullshit trades. And everyone's like, all right, if you want to lose, don't make this trade. Ha ha ha. And like, I'd rather lose than literally shoot myself in the foot. Like that makes no sense. And then what happens? One of the guys who've been not talking trash, but Kevin, he likes to poke the bear, just because like, I mean, I do it too, but I've learned karma is a B, and then what happens? My scrubby team, that I needed to make a trade with them all year just happens to knock him out of the playoffs round one.
Shout out to Kev. He had one hell of a team. That definitely was a shocker. You know what I mean? And, I had the bye week waiting on to play the winner of y'all matchup. And, I wasn't sitting around like, man, I hope Kev loses because his team's so crazy. Like, you're actually one of the hotter teams. It's just really like, if it's my destiny to move on, then don't matter who it is. So, you know what I mean? But, it's just funny how people will root for shit, and you never know. It's football, man. You know what I mean? Like you like people who are like, will be like, oh, I'm sitting my players so I can get a better seed and play so-and-so because his team said, oh yeah, let's hope that works for you. Because if you could tell the future's so good, then, give me the lottery ticket numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I've yet to find the person that literally diagnoses everybody's like matchups and stuff like that, for the next week to be able to decide if that's worth it. Like, I'm not saying that the players don't mean anything. They obviously do, but there's a reason why everyone was like, I'm never drafting Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce again, because they had a few off weeks. And then what do you know? As long as he comes back this week and plays, no one's going to be saying shit about Travis Kelce. He's warranted that first round pick.
The fantasy, the fantasy community is overreactive, as they should be. You know what I mean? And as we are, because I'm part of that joint as well. But if he doesn't come back this week, or he comes back and shits people to bed, those people will not draft Kelce in the first round next year. You know what I mean? Like it's so funny because people or even people like Cam Akers, he really only came on the last like 6 weeks of the year, but not for, I mean, he died week 14, maybe right before week 15 or something like that. So, but people still remember how when someone's polarizing in any fashion, it's going to affect how you view it.
Yep.
Yeah, like Corduroy might be drafted. If he's back with Atlanta next year, he might get drafted. He might get overdrafted.
I mean, I guess it depends on how he finishes, because he's definitely fallen far from grace.
Yeah, we're going on it looks like we're going on 3 weeks of 12 points or less, and at least he never dropped before the 12-point streak came. He never dropped under 14 PPR points. Now, after 2 weeks of 12 and 13 points, now he went down to like 3 points. You know what I mean? And even if he got that touchdown to start the game that they called back, that's only like 9 points on the week. So, yeah, it's a fall from grace for sure.
It is what it is. And as much as everyone knows that I love Corduroy, I was the first one to say sit Corduroy over the last couple weeks. And it's not because I don't like the talent. It's the matchups. It's the way they've been using them. And, anyone who says start your studs no matter what, they just.
And the goddamn Mike Davis wants to start showing up.
Yeah, I'm definitely not trusting that guy anytime soon.
Yeah, he just exists to ruin Corduroy now.
Yeah, JC Money said, "Look who's showing face." Yeah, finally able to get out of bed. Yeah, you guys wouldn't have wanted to see me the last couple days.
Yeah, man, avocado mask and everything.
And Chase
on the eyes.
Yeah, and Chase says Rojo has to be the pickup of the week, right? I mean, there's a lot of pickups of the week this week, but yeah, I mean, anybody who's going to be a starting running back in week 16 and they're on the waiver wire, for sure, you should go pick them up. I mean, I've been telling people to pick up Rojo for the last week or two. And I know Bogart knows that I believe my own isms because he went to go try to pick him up and saw he was on my team.
I tried to pick him up in this particular league, you had him for the last month or so. Even before, because I think a month ago he had 2 weeks in a row of just vulturing a touchdown. I was like, all right, well, let's just pick him up just in case. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Let's see. What other news we got right now? So, okay. How about for the Panthers? We got a lot of news over there. Sam Darnold been cleared for contact. I believe he went out there and practiced today. The rule already came out, said Cam's starting. Cam's going to have the major role, and Darnold will play at some point. I don't think Darnold's going to play at all. I mean, why would they at this point?
I think it's more so that if the year starts to continue in the wrong direction for the Panthers, they will get Sam Darnold on the field to show that he's well enough, and they're going to try to move him because a former first-round QB coming at a free price, right? They're still going to draw some interest there, even though Sam Darnold's terrible. But like I said, it's just they got to show that he's healthy and he can end up like a backup that can compete with a younger QB. And because you could trade for him and pick up his 5th-year option and have him for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For a year.
Because what they trade for him, like a 2nd and a 4th or something?
It was like a 3rd and a 6th, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. If
someone in the chat wants to fact check us, that'd be awesome. But it's Sam Darnold. No one gives a fuck. I do know it was like a meatball sub thrown in there, to sweeten the deal.
The dough said Darnold's going to Pittsburgh. Man, that would suck. That would.
You know what though? Let's play this game real quick. They would do something like that because that would mean that they're going to try to draft somebody or bring in another one of those big free agents because Sam Darnold has no choice of going anywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? He'll be a backup to whatever other option Carolina goes with next year if they can't get rid of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because PJ Walker seems like their system backup over there because he's played with Matt Rule over at Temple in college. And so, that was just the guy he brought on, just, quote unquote, knows the system. And they're just going to keep, maybe we'll see a Watson there next year. Maybe even a Gardner Minshew is going to be another interesting guy that could be floated around. There's going to be, but there's going to be 3 big names next year that float around. And that's, Aaron Rodgers, who's going to be, you're going to have to trade from. Kirk Cousins, who will be hitting the free agency again. And then even Derek Carr. I could see that's more realistic to the Steelers. If no Aaron Rodgers, they could go after a Cousins or a Carr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Kong said it right there. Started off 0-3. JT, Josh Allen, and Eckler. Now I'm the 2nd seed with a record of 10-5. Start your studs no matter what, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, there's a difference between JT, Eckler, and a whole bunch of other running backs that people claim are studs. Okay. I mean, yeah, the number one running back in the league. Yes, that is not someone that you see.
Yeah, JT is the number one guy in the league. And then Eckler is literally like the number 2 or 3 guy in fantasy at the position. So, you know what I mean? That I don't think
that's not what we're talking about when we don't officially start your stud. So we got to make sure that people understand what that means, because someone, I mean, I've seen people, an RB2 who's just been good for you. Anyone could call them a stud, like people have been calling Corduroy a stud all season. If you've been playing them over the last 3 weeks, you might have lost your playoffs.
See, and that's when you start to integrate like daily fantasy isms into your redraft isms, you know what I'm saying? Because in daily fantasy, you get to choose every week. So like, I'm not going to go and start JT if he's playing the hands down number 1 run defense. I might fade him on the weeks. You know what I mean? But if you're in redraft, there's just never a question with those type of players. They just stay in your lineup. You know what I mean?
But I'll tell you what, I know you do this too. If I think JT is going to have a bad game, that affects the way like people that I put in my flex. Or maybe my wide receiver 3, because if I think JT is going to have an off game, I'm going to go higher upside in other places.
Yeah. Like, that's kind of how I ended up with a lot of Gabe Davis in this past month. Before he started to come on, that the snaps were there, and I was like, this is a high upside play as a WR3, and I was throwing him in there, and he was basically a touchdown or a bust until he started getting some actual targets. Then Manny Sanders dies, and it's like, oh wow, I have a guy potentially for more than like a streaming option. You know what I mean? So and then I almost played in this particular league. I'm glad I didn't lose, but I pondered Gabe Davis over Corduroy in my 3rd wide receiver spot, because it was just awesome having another running back basically in my receiver spot. But and it was just like, see, we consider Corduroy a stud, but he's not a must start to me. After, you know what I mean? Like maybe a month and a half ago, you asked me this, I would have said all day. You know what I mean? But he's not no JT, he's not no Eckler, and he's no Sharon Stone.
That is a fact. And Life in Sports Talk with Jake says, is Davis a must start in the flex? So I almost don't like saying anyone is a must start, because like context matters, like who you're going to be like sitting over him. But I picked up Gabe Davis in a lot of leagues, and I'm probably going to be starting him.
I mean, it's New England, so there's that, because you have 15 weeks, like 15 literal weeks of watching fantasy receivers not do well against them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the number 1 secondary and majority of the metrics out there that you can find. So that's the one caveat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
like I wouldn't play him over Corduroy this week because Corduroy's playing Detroit. So I'm just gonna hope that Detroit continues to do what they've done all year against opposing running backs, and that's BS.
Yep. Hell yeah. And last thing for the Panthers is Rule says that DJ Moore is going to be a game time decision this week.
He looked bad last week, man. They shouldn't have played him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially when you're not playing for anything at this point. Like, why not just give a guy a week off? Let him get a little bit better.
But if you're DJ Moore too, you want to get out there because this is your 3rd year. Oh, hold on, 18, 19, 20, 21. This is your 4th year.
So he's got one more year on that rookie contract.
Yep, because I think he was he a 1st rounder? Even if he was a 2nd rounder, they still had the 4 year with the 5th year option. So, he's gonna of course he wants to get out there so he can be like, yo, New England, pick me up, or you know what I mean?
He was a 1st rounder, 24th overall pick.
There it is. You know what I mean? So he's probably a guy they don't bring back. Him and Mike Williams, who else? Guys like that. Like they're gonna hit the free agency market. Chris Godwin, you know what I mean? There's Juju. You know what I mean? There's some names here that are gonna circulate, and they're gonna be great, like flex options for us next year.
What up, man?
What up, birthday twin? And I do worry about
Oh, you know who else is going to be a free agent next year?
Who?
Will Fuller.
You know what's funny is I bet you Will Fuller ends up back with the Dolphins because nobody's gonna want him, bro.
And the news about him is, it was a couple days ago, and it was like, it was so blah. Figure I'd wait till I was feeling better, and then we can actually laugh about it. He had another setback, and he's out for the season.
Listen, man, I'm always gonna stay consistent. And Will Fuller the fifth. See, that's why you have to pay attention to that part, the fifth, because he comes from a long line of Offalers. You know, his pappy was Offaler, his pappy's pappy. There's 5 of them motherfuckers.
Oh man!
When my son grows up to play fantasy football, he will be advised strongly against drafting Will Offaler the 6th
or the 7th. Who knows?
For real.
Oh man. And Life in Sports Talk with Jake says Cooks is still vaccinated. He could play. Yeah, I mean, unless they get the out, the out status, I mean, they're vaccinated because everyone who's unvaccinated, as soon as they hit COVID reserve, they already have the out.
Yeah. Like or if you legit have symptoms, you're probably not going to play. And right. They rarely tell us that part, but like they did with Tyler Lockett and last week, he's vaccinated. He had it. They even moved the game. And we still told people, no, you got to make your choice because he's not going to play. Like, it's just, if you have symptoms, they're not going to have you out there with sniffles, bro. You know what I mean? And you got COVID.
Yep. Let's see here. And the Doe says, if AJ Brown plays, how y'all feeling? I mean,
if you made it this far, you play him against my porous 49ers secondary.
I just really, really want to hear something from the coach that he's good to go, that he's not going to be under any pitch count or anything like that. And I know we've seen people on a pitch count go out and kill it. I just want to hear some coach speak that makes me feel good about playing.
Like Austin Powers?
Yeah.
Like Austin Eckler. Like, he's been playing like an average of 34, 35% of the snaps the past 3 weeks. And he's been viable in fantasy because he gets there on the money downs. You know what I mean? Here's why it works for receivers, in my opinion, because, okay, if you're having them on a pitch count and you're like, all right, 3rd down, man, this is a big play, get out there. And, you're like, oh, AJ Brown's out here. Everyone focus on him. And he's basically could be out there to take attention away. So, Nick Westbrook, IKEA with his shitty ass furniture can go get a touchdown. You know what I mean? Like, for fantasy purposes, like pitch count for receivers helps in reality, not in fantasy to me. So I will say if he plays, he's probably not going to be on a pitch count. I think at least 65%, you know what I mean? Which is like, not, I think he's like an 85% guy anyway when he's healthy. So if we can get him up to, over half the snaps, he's playable against that Niner secondary that's not good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, like Manuel Mosley, when he was starting, bro, he didn't give up 0 touchdowns. You know what I mean? Whatever receiver he was covering. And then, he gets hurt, and then everyone just picks on everybody over there. We got some guy, Thomas, who's been just giving up TDs every week, or if not TDs, big plays. Like, he got mossed last week by Russell Gage. And Russell Gage sucks, man. He's no Sharon Stone. But, but that just shows our secondary is that bad.
Hell yeah. And that's been the thing all year for the 49ers. Really good against the running backs, really good against the tight ends, but those outside receivers, not the best at covering them.
Mm-hmm. And when you got someone who's lost a step, one, and actually never was really in the top conversation outside being polarizing for slamming OBJ, Josh Norman always gives up big plays. And he loves getting stiff arm straight to hell by a Titan. It could be AJ Brown this year. I mean, remember last year he was that meme. He was getting trucked by Derrick Henry.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's go. I don't know. See, okay. Would you say AJ Brown fits under that start your studs thing?
No. I'm going to say no because he hasn't played in a while, been on injury reserve. So he's someone that I would not consider a stud. And I mean, you've said it a lot of times, on here, if you make it this far in spite of a guy, I mean, that's not a stud. That's not a stud to me. That's still a debatable start sit.
Yeah. He was a burden.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was asking not because I wanted to argue it. I was curious because with a lot of. I mean, I guess this week's not so bad. It's not like the person who had Cole Beasley's like, thank God AJ Brown's back. Because obviously, if you're rocking with Cole Beasley and you have AJ Brown, you're hella happy he's back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yep.
Cole Beasley, so like I said, if you made it here in spite of him, and that might mean that you might have to play AJ Brown if your other options have been streaming. Okay, Gabe Davis over AJ Brown. I might slightly say Gabe Davis just based on if we're worried about him not getting a full workload. But here's one thing about AJ Brown is, why we love him is because he was always good for like that 30-40 yard breakaway at one point in the game. You know what I mean? Like having to bank on that though, it's the same to me as like starting Deshaun Jackson then. You know what I mean?
Yep. And so some new news that just came in right now. Austin Eckler has been placed on the COVID reserve list. That's according to Field Yates. He's vaccinated. He only needs one negative test.
Yeah. See, here's the thing is that the reason why this is even like a thing that Yates had to put out is because the Chargers released their shit on Monday or Tuesday it was, and it didn't have Eckler's name on it, but everyone knew that he was in the protocol. So it's Wednesday. This is the official report, and they just want to emphasize that he's in the protocol.
LOL. Brandon said y'all told me to sit Andrews. No, we didn't. Unless you had Travis Kelce, Andrews was my number 2. You don't gotta lie. You don't gotta lie to kick it, bro.
Yeah, because ain't nobody. And first of all, like I have one of the most tremendous memories. Yeah, that didn't happen. You know what I mean? And you can't find that clip either. I guarantee it. No. You can't find that clip because people that watch this show, they know not to ask us about Andrews. Andrews is the guy you play. The tight end position so butt-ass naked that like when you have guys like that, you never ask about them because you know you have a leg up. You know what I mean?
And I'd literally been saying all week that if Huntley plays, I like Andrews way more.
Mm-hmm. So, I could find several clips of that.
Oh, yeah, because I've been saying it. I was saying it all week. So, yeah, bro, you just got to tune in a little bit more.
I don't even think I've seen that guy's username, to be honest with you.
Me neither.
Till I don't think I've seen it's all good though. The guy got some attention. You know what I mean? And that's that.
Okay, so he said, do I play Kittle or Andrews? Okay, so you have the number 2 and 3 tight end in the league. Sorry.
And was it us or JC Money? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we could see it, but I mean, sorry, bro. Sorry it didn't work out for you, man. This is why you should not draft 2 tight ends where you have to make a decision like that, bro. Sorry. And see, the Doe said, no, you definitely didn't say to sit Andrews. Wrong channel, bro.
yeah, man. Hey, man, you know what I would have said? Start both of them motherfuckers. That's what I would have said.
Play one in the tight end and one in the flex, because I doubt you have a better flex player than Andrews.
Yeah.
And JC Money said, don't be blaming me, Bogard.
Hey, I wasn't. Okay, you can clip that. Rewind. Did I say JC Money said it? I said, did you ask, was it us or JC Money? Okay, because there's more than 2 motherfuckers on here asking questions, and I wouldn't want to be a donkey jackass by assuming that this guy never asked us that, because there's several of us, you know what I mean? But you definitely didn't ask us, because if someone came to me with a Kittle Andrews question, I would immediately assume they're in a tight end premium, and I would say start both of them.
Yeah, because why would you draft 2 of them? That literally makes no sense. You don't draft both of them unless you're playing both of them every week. Like that, there's no point to, because you drafted both of them with 2 top 4 picks. So you're telling me that you sit a top 4 pick on your team? That is not a way to win fantasy football.
Maybe he's in an 8-man team or 8-man league, I should say. You know what I mean?
And you know what? I hear people saying like, the 8-team leagues are the hardest to win because everyone's team is so stacked. And I can agree to a certain extent, but that's also why I tell people to step your game up. Like you got to.
Or if you're going to play in a super shallow league like that, don't have it as rudimentary and boring as fuck in your roster construction. Put, 4 flexes and fuck, you know what I mean? And like
And see, and here
You're
you
not
go.
gonna
The
flex
people who really rock with the show know, and they said you would say flex Kittle. Exactly. Like, why would I tell someone to sit a top 3 or top 4 draft pick? Like, it makes no sense. I would never do that. I'd say start both.
So, hey, I ain't gonna lie. He might be in the one league too. He probably just be in the one league. That might have cost him his matchup, and he's trying to lash out right now. And then that's where I would back that up by saying this is why you should join our leagues. We have several leagues every year. Get in hella leagues because that broadens your perspective not only on fantasy in general, but it also higher your probability of taking home a chip. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And
yeah.
And if my scenario is correct, I will also double that by saying, go ahead and sign up with Super Draft Pro because fantasy is not over for you. Kittle, what's his name? Kittle, Andrews guy. That's what I'm calling him.
It is not over. It is not over.
It's not over for you. You could still have fun, squeeze the juices out of fantasy football as much as possible.
Okay, well, so now I guess I never saw your profile picture, but either way, I don't tell people to sit Andrews or Kittle. I would be saying flex them.
Yeah.
So,
you know what? I encourage Kittle Andrews manager guy to go ahead and find that clip and prove us wrong.
Yeah.
Go find that clip, screen record that junk, and come back and throw it in our face. Because I guarantee that clip doesn't exist.
And Antonio said, me versus you, hustler. Good luck. Oh, man, in the Dream to Walk League. And Antonio has the biggest week out of every team there. So his team's been so solid all year, man. It is the cream's definitely going to rise to the top this week, my friend.
So it's Francisco that's actually playing Stu, who beat me.
Yeah, because I always, well, at least where I can, I always try to put in the reseeding options. Because, like, I mean, brackets are cool, but I really like the reseeding options. Let's get it as close to the NFL playoffs as we can.
I'm not mad at it. It's also like if I'm in a league that has that.
Dang it. He said me versus Stu. Uh-oh. So that means I am playing Francisco. Uh-oh.
See, yeah, so because remember Antonio had jumped in the chat a couple days ago and was like, "Is me and versus Stu or him versus me?" Like, you know what I'm saying? It was gonna be the birthday twin Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
It's so weird because NFL. Last time I looked, they still didn't. Okay, yeah, it's okay. So it's up now, but it was weird earlier this morning when I pulled it up. It said that I had a bye week. I was so confused. And then as soon as I pull up our matchup right now,
it was there.
The projected points are 203.77. That's me. And Francisco 203.85. This shit is going to be a nail biter.
I like it. And I'm still sour about that league.
Man, Bogard was so good all year. So good all year.
I don't think I fell below 4th place, bro. And once I got into the top 3, I was there. I was stuck there. And hey, that's what fantasy is. Tom Brady. I'm going into Sunday night. I have a commanding lead, and then I have Tom Brady, and then Tom Brady doesn't move any of my points further. And my opponent was able to catch up and beat me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Iggy's crazy fantasy sevens league, I was on like a 9-game win streak or something. A lot of it was on the back of Tom Brady, and then he goes out and has a dud. And what do you know? I get my ass whooped, and I don't score top points in the league. First week of the playoffs.
Right. I've been there all too many times.
It sucks. It sucks.
I always feared the one and done. But then after you surpassed it, the one and done is, phase. And then it's really, to me, it's like, if I don't win, I feel all the same. You know what I mean? You got to win. That's what it's about. I can't stand when there's and man, shout out to my man Tino for you out there, bro. There's a guy, man, in our league, and he never wins it, but he prides himself so much on making the playoffs. Oh, you wouldn't even make the playoffs this year. Like, yo, bro, you didn't win, bro. You know what I mean? And it's just hilarious because it's like, that don't mean shit. Win the whole thing. There's 11 losers if you're in a 12-man team. There's 13 if you're in a 14, and so forth. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the one thing. That's the one thing that always pisses me off a little bit when someone who didn't win the league talks shit. And like when it wasn't even you who knocked me out, but maybe you're talking shit. Oh, I made it farther in the playoffs. Like we didn't play each other, and I had an easier matchup, but I still made it farther than you.
That don't mean shit. You just prolonged your loss. That's all that meant. You know what I mean? That's why. And you know me, I'm a psychedelic advocate, bro. You know what I mean? Psychedelics give me money, and the mushroom always told me, bro, if it's your destiny, it's your destiny, bro. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If it ain't, it ain't.
What up, Hess? What's going on, bro?
What up, Hess?
And he said, "Who's ready for Himothy season? AB gonna eat." I mean, shit, he's going to be the only one there. That's why I'm telling everyone, pick up Scotty Miller, where you can, because every time there's no one playing, Scotty Miller randomly scores a touchdown.
I'm going to go with, this is like the Jalen Guyton versus Joshua Palmer debate, right? I'm going to go, and I like your Scotty Miller. I'm not mad at that, but I'll see your Scotty Miller and raise you a Tyler Johnson. You know what I mean? Because that's the guy who's probably going to pile up more receptions.
And you know what's crazy? I picked up Perryman and Scotty Miller on teams and left Tyler Johnson there. So I hope that I'm not wrong with who could be what.
Yeah, because and here's what I think is I think Perryman and Scotty Miller, they kind of do the same thing, but Scotty Miller can and will be put in the slot here and there. Like he's a guy that you could create mismatches with, you know what I mean? Versus a Brashad Perryman who's traditionally an outside guy. You know what I mean?
And second take extra, I got a guy in my league who goes on Twitter and talks about how good his team is. In 3 years, he hasn't made it out of the first round. You got to love those guys.
One and done, homie, man.
We need people to donate, to the leagues, so it is what it is. I'll let people get their jollies off if they think that losing that. I mean, I don't like Will Fuller, but I mean, not Will Fuller, Will Ferrell. But if you're not first, you're last. There's literally no in between in sports.
And
you're the Cowboys.
I do want to say that I know, right? Where you're just mid range. You're just like you're always happy that you never finished. Like you always finish around 500. That's like a Cowboys fan-ism. You know what I mean? Like we always have winning records. Like, okay, winning record, but not championship. You know what I mean? I don't think about my Niners.
And I don't like to body shame people or anything, but we're talking about the Cowboys. The Cowboys are the skinniest kid at fat camp right now. And like, it's crazy how hyped the Cowboys fans get over that.
I mean, their division is just so ass. You know what I mean? Like if you put one NFC West team in that division in place of the Eagles or the Giants or the foosball team, and the Cowboys don't have it so easy, bro.
No, not even close. I mean, when you play 6 garbage games a year, I mean, your record's going to be pretty decent. I don't care how you slice it.
Shout out to my man Nancy out there, and shout out to my man Jazzy McFly. They're the only Cowboys diehards in my circle of like homies. You know what I'm saying? And most of us are Niners. We got a few Raiders, and I swear to God, all I have to do is bring up like, man, what is wrong with the Cowboys? Oh, you know what's wrong with them, bro? They lose to teams like the Raiders. You know what I mean? Like
on Thanksgiving, when it should be one of the easier matchups of the week for them.
Like, when the Raiders barely beat my man Nick Mullins the other day. You know what I mean? That's how bad the Cowboys are. Like low key. Like not bad. They're a great team. Let me rephrase that. That's how like the thin line is between them being as great as those fans think they are to really what really is going on. You know what I mean? Like they lose to bad teams. Hey, the Broncos, not that great. Smacked them up. You know what I mean?
The Broncos are actually pretty bad. Their offense is terrible.
Mm-hmm. Smacked them up.
Yeah, the Cowboys let them throw up 30 on them. The Raiders definitely don't have that good of an offense. Threw up 36.
Even in some of the Raiders are one of the teams that played multiple overtime games this year. That they'll show me that you can't play, like you can't close games. You're not a great team. You know what I mean?
Like imagine if the Cowboys were in the AFC West. They lost to the Broncos, the Chiefs, and the Raiders.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
I mean that's 3 of their losses right there. And why? It's because one of those teams you don't play like every single year, so you don't know them like the back of your hand.
Yeah, and like what's crazy is if you're the Cowboys, you should be smashing these out of conference teams because you might see one of those teams in the Super Bowl. If they play the Patriots in the Super Bowl, Patriots are going to eat them alive.
Oh,
because they had to take the Patriots to overtime. You know what I mean?
I think we're giving them way too much credit saying they're even going to go to the Super Bowl right now.
I'm just saying, I'm just giving an example. Okay, look at the Buccaneers. You know what I'm saying? You could argue week 1, the Cowboys and the Buccaneers, hell of a game, start the year off. You know what I mean? And you could argue that, if there's not one Greg Zuerlein missed extra point or that missed field goal, they win that game. But still, my point is, if you see the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl, they're going to smack you because they already played you. And look at within division. They still struggle within division too. They're not going out there and smacking up the Washington football team. Like, it really takes their defense. Look at that. A couple weeks ago, they played Washington, right? They pick off Heineke. 2 plays later, they pick off Dak. You know what I mean? It was like one of the most ugliest games when, on paper, they should have smacked them up. You know what I mean? They played Jalen Hurts the first, week 2, 3. Jalen Hurts was super, that was when they didn't know they weren't running the ball at all. And they would have Jalen Hurts just go out there and throw gigantic picks. You know what I mean? They'd be like, just throw it down the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And hey, look at now they're gonna encounter the Eagles pretty soon here again. It's a different team. I think the Cowboys they're not in danger of losing the division.
No, they already won the division, didn't they?
Yeah. No. They not officially.
Oh, I mean,
there's a lot that needs to happen. Washington was one of them. So you're right. I think they did. Someone might want to look that up. I know they clinched the playoffs.
They're 3 games ahead right now with 3 games to go. So
yeah, I think it's just the Eagles take one more loss this week. The division will be theirs, or it can go all the way down to them beating the Eagles, and then it's official.
I'm assuming they already have the tiebreaker versus the Eagles though, as of right now. So I don't even know how they would end up re-getting
in
that.
Washington.
Hold on real quick. Brandon said, I found the video. We'll post the link here and then tell me the timestamp.
Yeah, and I want to know who said that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because if it was me, I apologize. But damn, I know that wasn't me.
And Ronald said, so Eckler could test negative 5 minutes before and play. No, it doesn't work like that. He would need to be at least the day before, I'm pretty sure. I don't think you can activate someone off a COVID reserve.
24 hours. It has to be 24 hours before the game, and they're still going to test you the morning of the game. That's just how it works.
Yep. And Live in Sports Talk with Jake, seems like everyone off COVID played bad. It depends on the practice, really, is what it comes down to. If a guy's not practicing all week, I mean, they may play limited. They may play in less snaps just because of it. Maybe some less red zone snaps or whatever. But yeah, for the most part, that's pretty much how it's been. And someone asked, should I pick up Justin Jackson? Yes, definitely. Fill your pockets.
They're playing the Texans. That's one of the worst run defenses. I want whatever running back is going to play against them. I mean, Rashad Penny, did he do well for anybody last night? Fuck no. But he did well against the Texans, didn't he?
Yep. And I was beating that drum all week, and I'm fine that I was wrong the week before, because that week before in week 14, it may have hurt you if you didn't make the playoffs, but if you lost because you played Rashad Penny over someone else, I'm sure that hurt a lot more. That's why I was definitely.
Oh, you mean week 15?
Well, no. Well, I was wrong. Week 14 is what I'm saying, when he balled out, right? Yeah, because I was one. I still didn't really want to play him. I was still kind of nervous about him, even though I did play him in a couple leagues. I was nervous to tell anyone to start him. And then this week, week 15, definitely was I'm just nervous about him. It's a gut feeling. I've seen it happen too many times from these Seattle running backs, and he's someone I'm not putting too much stock into this week.
He played somebody before that too, week 13, where he had 79 yards in the tug. So it was it was trending, and then the Texans one was too juicy, but I still had him as an RB2. I didn't, there was no way you could find any clip of me being he's top 5 play, and I think he was a top 5 finisher that week.
Yep. And CD8 a great. Sorry, we're kind of just free flowing with everything. We do the Q&A kind of at the end. So, pretty much the comments I've been pulling up are kind of like the
that pertain to all the news that we have gathered.
Oh yeah. Well, let's see what question he had. Yeah, and you only left this question like 5 minutes ago, but we got you. Hey guys, took your advice on starting Cooper. Do I start Lockett in place of him? And would you start Rojo or Barkley? None of these games are Thursday games. None of these games are Thursday games. I'm
Giants are playing the Eagles. I'm playing. Barkley. Okay, was anybody nervous about playing Gibson against the Eagles? Probably, but the Eagles aren't the greatest run defense. What you got to worry about more so is that the fact that Barkley or the Giants, they get behind in these games, and if you're not throwing the ball to Barkley, the game script to run the ball goes out the window real fucking quick. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So, yeah, and Rojo. How many snaps did he? Keyshawn Vaughn played 19 snaps. So yeah, I do like Rojo, but when you bring in Le'Veon Bell, that isn't just keeping your pockets loaded because you already had Shady McCoy out on the team. So bringing in Le'Veon Bell kind of shows me like, all right, we need a guy in the passing game. You know what I mean? I think Rojo's a flex. I think he's a top 36 guy. He's an RB3. I'm not putting all these eggs in that basket though. You know what I mean? Over a Barkley.
I agree with the top 36. I think it is a little bit closer to an RB2. And a lot of the reason why is look at the injuries. Like, look who's out there. Like that's what's kind of tough. So even
it's a good point. It's a good point.
Even some of these RB2s, though, I'm not saying they're locked and loaded starts. Definitely not. Le'Veon Bell doesn't make me nervous though, because he looked pretty ass on the Ravens. So
no, I'm saying though, I'm not talking about someone who's going to be like take the job away. I'm someone who's just going to take snaps away. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I don't think this week though. I'm gonna.
Keyshawn Vaughn takes away 19 snaps immediately, right? Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe with a whole week of game planning, Rojo is the guy. But pass pro is a thing. Who he grades poorly in pass protection.
Bruce Arians, he does wear his colors on his sleeves, a lot, or his emotions on his sleeves.
And he did say he's got to step it up.
He says he's got to do what Lenny did last year in this exact same instance where Rojo got hurt. So I am going to believe that narrative. I think that the Le'Veon Bell signing means that Fournette may be a little bit more hurt than.
Did you see what else he said? So there was another blurb that I read that quoted him for saying that because they said, how come, after a big run, he would be on the sideline? And he said, he's not conditioning well right now. So that was one thing too. So maybe in a week they get him right. But did you notice that? And because I went back and watched that Sunday game because I was pretty inebriated Sunday night. I was having a Christmas party with my fam. So the game was just on. So the next day I actually went back and watched the condensed version. And like there was a couple big runs. Then he'd be on the sideline for the rest of the series. You know what I mean? Like, and I just thought that was weird. But also maybe that could have even been like, let's see what we got with Keyshawn Vaughn, and he was really ass. And then, when you see what they do without hearing what they say, like bringing in more help like Le'Veon Bell, that not only tells me that Lenny's going to be out for an extended period, but it also tells me that they don't trust Rojo, that they need more hands on deck. They're doing what the Ravens did, literally, not just with bringing in Le'Veon Bell, but like losing their guy who's clearly their guy. And they're like, fuck, okay, we need to get a handful of guys here to make sure we have something serviceable, because what we do have with Rojo and Vaughn ain't something they jumping out the window for.
Well, and as a GM or like whatever owner, can anybody like think that their running backs aren't going to get hurt? Like, man, we've seen the apocalypse of running backs the last.
I'm a 49er fan.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like we always have a carousel because we're a run first team. Can't be a run first team without having a shitload of running backs, you know what I mean?
Yep. Let's see. And Chase says Rojo's a good play next week, no matter what, against the Jets too. I think he's going to be solid. That's for sure.
Carolina's they're not the greatest run defense either. They just gave up 84 yards to Singletary. That's not even a running team, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe that could be a part of it. You have all these guys you have to drop into coverage. You know what I mean? Because of the receiving options for Buffalo, and then Singletary just underneath, free and wide, right? But Singletary sucks. It's my point. Like, so Rojo is a nice flex here, and I will agree because the whole time when I said top 36 play, I said, and you pointed that out. Like, well, there's look at the atrocity at the running back position. Man, he's probably an RB2 for real. I couldn't name.
You can name 20 healthy running backs right now.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
And so to answer your question, at least what I'll do right now, CDA, nobody better be taking my Wednesday answers as final answers for the week. Like Sunday answers are the last, are the final answers. But I'm going Cooper. We still don't know what the hell's up with Lockett. I mean, still on COVID reserve, and they got the short week coming up. And Seattle's been pretty garbage. And even though Cooper has been a little iffy, you got Washington. Washington is pretty bad. And Rojo or Barkley, I'll go. I'm gonna go Barkley for right now, but things could change.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. It's also there's not a lot of like they're gonna stack the box on Brady. You think? No, they'll probably drop everyone into coverage. But who's the focal point here now? If Gronk, because I still don't think AB is like set to play. He's only eligible to come back.
Yeah, well, I mean, the way that they're talking made it seem like he's going to come back. I mean, who knows if that's coach speak or not? Because I think with him, it was really just the team. Like that's what it was. It wasn't the injury. It was the team. And they already let him and what the hell is his name? Mike Edwards. That was the other dude who got in trouble for having the fake card as well. And they're letting them both come back and get into action.
Okay. Yeah, because we're like damn near 2 months from his mid ankle sprain is what they were calling it.
Yeah. It was just weird timing how everything happened. Like it was almost like, someone waiting to screw over someone for the NFL draft. Like this shit could have been brought up a long time ago, but it's like right when he's about to come back. Like that's when all this shit hit the fan.
Yeah, I mean, but it also was weird too because it was like he plays a game, and then the next week or the next day he's in a walking boot, but they're like he's limited. Then it was like he's on IR, or no, he wasn't on IR. Remember they held him out for like 3 weeks, then put him on IR, and that same week he got hit with that vaccination bullshit. Yeah. So it was kind of weird, like the sequence of events. You know what I mean?
Sir Bong's a lot in the building. What up, bro?
Let me hear that bong.
Baby, the bong, the bong, bong, bong.
That bong, the bong, bong, bong.
That's the part.
Man, it's so funny because like I remember hearing that song when I was like maybe like 13 years old, and like still never smoked weed to that point in my life. Didn't smoke weed until I was 14. But man, I just remember thinking that shit was like the funniest thing. And I did not have any weed isms the first time that I heard that song either.
You know what's funny is my dad and all my cousins, everybody smoked weed around me growing up. And they all try to keep it on the low, obviously. But it was like all the fun stuff that they would do while high. Like I loved Cheech and Chong movies. It cracked me up so hard as a kid. I didn't even know what was so funny about it. You know what I mean?
The funniest shit to me. So my dad,
you know what I mean?
My dad's always been a big smoker, but my mom was like, "Nah, you can't smoke in the house or anything." So he'd always kind of be in his little outhouse or whatever the hell you want to call it,
shed.
Little shed in the backyard. Yep. And he was just always out there. That was his sanctuary. But then I go over to my mom's best friend's house. My quote unquote black family. They just tell us go in the room while they're smoking weed and they're out watching fucking cartoons and shit while they're smoking
in the house. I mean, it's what's funny is now that we have like technology and shit, you know what I'm saying? And like my family parties, like we're just hitting the pen in the house. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you want to smoke some flower, go step outside. But like, kids are running around because that's what it is now. You know what I mean? It's like when we were young, we would sneak alcohol at the family parties now, right? And it's funny because I'll see my little, adolescent cousins, or, you know what I mean? And they out there on the side of the house. I'm like, what y'all doing? Let me hit that shit. You know what I mean? Because they over there trying to hide, keep it on the low. Because that's how it is. Like with marijuana, where we're from, at least, like if I don't want my kids to smoke weed, but I won't be opposed to it if they got their shit straight, right? Because they're gonna come to a point where it's like, I'm like, okay, you're not old enough for that yet. Because that's what it is now. You have to be of age and you can make those decisions because marijuana is not the end all be all drug like, you know, these other fucking horrible opiates and shit like that out there, man. This is actually a life enhancement. If you ask me.
Yeah. And I mean, like, what are the side effects of weed? Like Cat Williams said it best: hungry, happy, sleepy. You know, that's pretty much the side effects. Like, would I rather have Noble smoke weed when he's in his 20s or be a fall down drunk? You know, like, I don't even know. I mean, my wife doesn't really drink that much. I don't really drink that much. I mean, but if we go in like my family, you know, history, like, man, I come from a long line of Mexican alcoholics. You know,
like Mexican kids party. Everyone's showing up with, like, you know, with 30 packs. You know what I mean?
I remember being 18 years old, being at a family party, and like my family was okay with me taking like 20 shots of different things.
Yeah, because see, Filipinos, first of all, my family in particular, we're hella integrated. You know what I mean? Like, I have cousins that are married to Mexicans. I have cousins that are married to blacks. You know what I mean? My aunt is married to a blacks. My sister's married to an Italian cat. Like, you know, we're hella, you know, interracial. And like, that's the one thing that's common in every family is that, like, they'll let you know, kids drink when they're in or around the age 21, but they want you to do it there. You know what I mean? Like, one of my uncles, he always had this saying: you keep it in here, not up here. Right? And like, you know, he was a drunk telling me this as a kid, but it always resonated with me because it's like, yeah, don't be that guy who gets drunk and fucking loses your mind, bro. Like, you know what I mean? No one wants to drink with that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, hell yeah. All right, and let me see. I'm putting it on right now.
Yes, the big reveal.
Let's see.
If it's Luigi saying that shit, I'm gonna laugh so hard.
It was on the What If. It was on the What If show. Let's see. Here we go.
Yeah, he doesn't even have a question in here. He's just
you're doing join in there. I love
it. I'm Luigi as fuck.
Yeah, that's probably the way I would do it. Because
I'm playing Patterson and Kittle.
Oh, okay. So the choices were Kittle, Andrews, and Patterson.
See, that wasn't me. That was Luigi. I have an out. Yeah, I'm on like an eight, like damn near an apish rooms right there. That was fucking. And hold on, rewind now. I want to know I want to hear the context of the question. We had to choose 2 out of the 3.
5% of the Bills.
No, well the context here is Kittle, Andrews, or play both and sit Patterson. That's what the context was.
Damn. So in my memory, I didn't even give him the right answer.
No, I wouldn't play both because Patterson.
I'm playing Patterson and Kittle.
Boom, definitive. The mushroom has spoken.
There we go. Well,
hey, if he lost because of that, and he came back to troll hella days later. Oh no, it's like the day after week 15 was over, right? Because until last night. Hey man, I hope he didn't lose sleep over that shit.
Well, here's the thing though. I literally say this all season. If you take the Wednesday answer as the final answer, I've literally said this all year. You're the only one to blame. Okay? Like, I mean,
we do this show daily, and Wednesday too, there was news that it was going to be Jackson. You know, it was still high potential was going to be Jackson.
Yeah.
The play, and I even kicked myself in the ass for not starting enough Andrews in Super Draft Pro because he was going to get hyper targeted. Yeah. See, that's the question you should have came back and asked, and we are literally on here every day.
Yeah, bro. Nobody can take a Wednesday answer.
Hey, but you know what though? It's never anyone's fault, right? Remember, we were actually talking about this yesterday that when people lose, they're always going to find a way. You know what I mean? And in this case, that's hilarious because that is our out. Luigi on a Wednesday even.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is. And he said, I still do it because I trust y'all. And we appreciate that because we're not going to be trying to give bullshit. But
and we want you to keep coming back. But you know what I'm saying?
Wednesday's like the start of the week, you know? So so I'm not talking shit to anyone. I just got to remind everybody Sunday morning, like, or, you know, the Q&As before like game time, Thursday, Saturday, this week, you know, those kind of like Q&As, like those are the ones where I definitely ponder stuff a lot more.
I love, you know, what's funny too. The whole time I was like, when he said he found it, I was trying to scan my memory. Like, I don't fucking remember that shit. we're on here. Like, I would remember an Andrews question, especially if it's the 2. But damn, no wonder I didn't remember that shit.
And definitely, oh yeah.
For those that don't know, it's an inside joke. When I'm Luigi, that means I am tore back on mushrooms. And that's how I do every Wednesday night show. Because being a father of 4, that's my escape, the Playmaker show. And tonight, in place of the Playmakers, we're doing the Christmas show. And I'm going to be on this motherfucker on some Christmas spirit shit, man. I'm definitely eating some shrooms tonight.
I think I want to get some gooms in my life tonight, too. Might as well.
Yeah, maybe you need a good cleansing.
Man, I'll tell you, eating like the amount that I've eaten in the last 5 days, like I feel like my body is completely cleansed right now. I haven't eaten shit. And Brandon, I'm not blaming y'all. Just want to let y'all know, hey, bro, always let us know because I'm not afraid to admit when I was wrong. Definitely.
Yeah, and if I remember that right away, I would have laughed immediately. You know what I'm saying? But see, listen though, for real, I'm gonna stress this again. That was a Wednesday show, bro. You got to come back, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. There's so many things we track. You know what I mean? And like to get off the Kittle train too. There's no way I would have. If I go back 10 times, there's no way I don't tell you to start Kittle. But if we knew that it was going to be Hundley, who just in the 3 appearances he's had has double-digit targets at Mark Andrews, it would have been both of them. And shout out to Brian. He had it right. Or both of them was the question.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And so Brandon, don't forget, it's not just Sunday morning. I mean, that's like the final one. But like Robert said, how about the 3 live streams on Saturday? We're literally live streaming all Saturday, taking questions. I do it in the morning. We do it late as hell, for people who may like need to make some last minute decisions, before Sunday as well, but can't make it on Sunday morning. So we're here grinding, bro. We're here grinding.
And I feel bad because my answer would have definitely been different if he came back. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess
Luigi was having a good ass time. Just the way I sound on that clip too. That's just funny, dude. Like I actually legit laugh out loud when I go back and watch the episodes that I'm on shrooms because it's just we're on there doing our thing. That's why that show's on a Wednesday because it's based on what ifs. You know what I mean? And we do answer questions, but that's the start of the week.
Yeah. And let's see where else we got here.
I'm glad I didn't bet him money though, because I was about to go out on a limb and be like, I bet money he can't find a clip. and then in true money karma, I would have had to cough that dough up, or I'd fuck my money up for life.
Yep. And so how about we get back to a little bit of news? Joe Mixon's practicing today. So didn't think that it was.
They said because remember there's the piece of news that no one really paid attention to was that he actually came back out for the last snap of the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, just to pass pro, really. You know what I'm saying? And that means a lot. You know what I mean? And then Monday came around, they said they expect him to get to light work. And this is, this is how good my memory is when I'm not on the shrooms, because every day I could usually pinpoint where we're tracking things. That was the Monday report. Here we are Wednesday, and they said they're doing what they said they were going to do.
Yeah. All right. For the Steelers, Devin Bush added to COVID reserve. So just one after another getting added.
Yeah. Big game for Clyde and company on the ground. Steelers are one of the worst run defenses. I mean, look at Deontay Foreman last week, put up over $1 on them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Brandon said, I didn't know that. Just hit that bell, bro. Turn on all the notifications. You'll know every time that we're on. YouTube will give your pocket a little poke with the notification.
The bell will get annoying even because that's how much we're on.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And you know what's dope about our community on FNT specifically is because we do give you guys a place to go ask those burning questions because we have things that we want to know every day. You know what I mean? And we my man Huss here, he compiles all the news. This is why we do this show specifically at this time of day because all the practice reports are already out. And Wednesday is the biggest show of the week because that's the for those that don't know, that's the first day of the week that teams are mandated to release their official injury reports on the week to start the week.
Yep.
Mhm.
Let's see. All right. For the Browns, Stefanski, he says, regardless of COVID status, he doesn't expect Hunt or Troy Hill to be available this week. I already thought the Green Bay the Green Bay defense was a smash lock and load this week, and Troy Hill not been there. I mean, they're number 2, cornerback most of the time. I mean, this sets up.
He plays more nickel, and Troy Hill going all the way back to the Rams was a guy I would start slot receivers against because that guy gives up big ass plays. I remember I made a bet last year. Because all through the year, I was watching Troy Hill with the Rams give up big splash plays up the seam, while he plays nickel, and they get in there against Green Bay, and I put money on it. Anytime touchdown for Alan Lazard, and I called it on the show, even posted the clip on my gram after the fact that I was like, this is my favorite prop, anytime touchdown. And if there was more money I could put on it to get specific, I would have. But I said it'll be on Troy Hill, and it happened. You know what I'm saying? Troy
there
Hill.
We go, Brandon. Good shit on hitting that bell, bro. Good shit.
Yeah, man. Hey, we were just giving you a hard time, too.
Yeah. and Ronald said Hunt's done. Yeah, I knew that he was going to be done. It's so funny because in a league with limited benches, remember that bullshit league that I told you about? Yeah. I let him go, literally never going to come back since I dropped him, and they kicked me out of the league because they said I was cheating by dropping Hunt. Limited benches, and the only people you could put.
And that league is supposed to be full of fantasy analysts. You motherfuckers are covering this shit too. Like, listen, when Logan Thomas got hurt, I let him go right away. You know what I mean? What the fuck am I going to do holding on Logan Thomas? You know what I mean? Because y'all looked at the timeline of the rest of the year that happened like week 12 or whatever it was. Like, listen, he's not coming back. Hunt, when did that happen? Week 13? He's done.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He was done.
Like, what up, Nigel?
Yep. Shout out to Serbia.
Yeah, he said chances of Tyreek Hill playing. I mean, anyone who's on COVID, I feel like it's a 50-50 because we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes with the symptoms, things like that. So I just got to say everyone's a 50-50. Make sure you load your pockets and get insurance. Anybody.
If you could find anything that says he tested positive and has symptoms, because when they say, sometimes they'll just say he's in COVID protocol. That means that could be one of two things. He tested positive or he was, around someone who was positive. You know what I'm saying? I've been finding that some teams don't get specific with it, but I know in this case, him and Hill both tested positive and they're both vaccinated. So according to the new protocol, all you have to do is test negative one time. But if you're showing symptoms, you're not, and you test negative, I think they still have to test you again. Ian Rappaport was saying some shit about that. And he said, be prepared for this to be a ever flexible protocol. So this is probably going to be a headache, and at least the rest, we don't have that much of fantasy season. So, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's happening to big names at the wrong time.
Yes, sir. Kind of bullshit, but it is what it is. And let me see. And Chase said I traded Hunt for Pitts straight up in week 4. Okay. Pitts is someone very, very interesting to me because I didn't realize he was on pace to go over 1,000, which he still is. And no rookie tight end has gone for 1,000. Like Jeremy Shockey's like one of the last ones. I think it was like 890 or some shit like that.
It was the guy who was coach for a team known as the Bears. He's the only guy, right? Ditka?
I don't think he went over 1,000 though. I think he just had a grip of touchdowns.
Okay, I thought he went for the thou wow as a rookie.
Let's see.
I'm probably wrong about that because I do remember like Jermichael Finley going over. Oh no, but Jermichael Finley wasn't a rookie.
Yeah, okay, you know what? Okay, he did go over 1,000 in 14 games.
I mean, so maybe I remember that from being a fan watching. That was like I was a baby. You know what I mean?
Well, the stat
read that somewhere.
The stat could have said the only rookie in the last 49 years to do it, for all I know, because that was 1961 when it happened.
Oh shit, that's right. I wasn't even in the balls yet, bro.
Yep, not even close. Let's see. Who else we got here? Okay, so for Washington, Rivera says that Gibson's injury is very similar to last year's injury. This makes me a little bit nervous. He didn't practice today, and but he was never really practicing on Wednesday anyways. But
this is a new injury, is what he's saying, because last year it was the toe, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Which was basically like a light turf toe.
Yeah, and put him out. I mean, it was like week 14 or week 13, something like that. Maybe
he
week
did
12.
come back. He came back for week 16 against Carolina, and yeah, it wasn't that great. Or I think it was against the Seahawks. I forget who he came back against, but yeah. Damn, that sucks. I didn't get to watch that game because they didn't, they weren't showing it locally, and so I was just following along on my phone, and when I looked at the score, I was like, oh shit, who scored a touchdown? It was Patterson. I was like, oh man, that's the first thing I thought of because I saw the cue. They took him out the game. You know what I mean?
I was dead to the world. I mean, I had both games up, but man, there was a lot of times I wasn't even watching it. I was just kind of listening. And I had both games on because, we streamed the thing. And I was trying to listen to both individually. Didn't really work so well.
And the commentators were ass.
Yeah. And Brandon said, by the way, this is my second year playing fantasy. I've been watching football for like 4 years, maybe. That's why I come here to get help. We appreciate you, bro. That's why we do this. I mean, I'm sure there's some experts that fuck with us, but I mean, we're giving back to the people who are like brand new to fantasy, giving our isms.
Yeah, I hope he didn't lose. And, like you said, he said he was his first year playing.
Yeah, well, he said that he's playing. I saw. Let me see. Where did it say?
Yeah, I hope he plays in more leagues, man, because this shit is like legit fun.
Oh yeah,
I mean? It's stressful, but it's I don't know. Maybe I'm a glutton for this type of shit, but like, I can't get enough, bro.
Yep, and he said, okay, so this was earlier. He said, I didn't know that when we were talking about the streams, but I'm starting both this week, so I'm assuming he didn't lose.
Yeah, he didn't lose. So there you go. So because now I'm gonna make sure that I hit his questions out the park, bro. And hold on here, Kittle playing against Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? They've been actually awesome against the tight end. You know what I mean? And the Ravens are playing. The Ravens are playing against the Bengals, who have been ass against the tight end. So you know what I mean? I guess Kittle's a flex, right? But I mean, I don't like going too deep on a Thursday short week. I don't know. Well, see, that's another one you got to come back. You got to come back and ask that one, or even drop your other options. I want to see your other options at flex.
Yeah, well, that's what he said. It's out of those three, pretty much again.
Oh, and I think it's Hundley again. It's Hundley again this week. Because here's one thing that the Ravens did. It's like little blips in news that don't really matter, but they kind of do. They signed Josh Johnson from the Jets practice squad because he's a guy that was familiar with Greg Roman's system before. You know what I'm saying? And that tells me that you only do something like that if you have a guy who's going to be gone for more than a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Niner MMA says, used to watch produced videos, but the interaction component can't be matched. Hell yeah. And I used to produce the uploads and things like that. And I mean, one thing that I noticed last year, I mean, I was getting thousands of views on some of these uploaded videos. And as soon as fantasy's over, all those people are gone, so I'd rather spend my time interacting, with you peeps, because I know that you guys are the ones who are going to be here in the off season. Yeah.
I mean, it goes along. I mean, it's trying to build a communal aspect of it, right? You know what I mean? Like, views are oblivious in that sense, right? Where it's like on an upload, because you don't know how personable it is, right? Like it could be a motherfucker who sat there and watched it like 20 times until he finished it. You get 20 views, you know what I mean? You don't know. Like I like knowing that we got the motherfuckers, you know what I mean, that just come through and they interact, you know what I mean? See all the familiar screen names and shit, or usernames. My bad, I'm from the 90s.
Yeah.
Screen names.
Here you go. Here's another tough one. Kamara, Patterson, or Cook?
Kamara and Cook.
Yeah. Sitting the pimp.
I like the pimp against Detroit though, but you know what I mean? That it's just this is one of those Kamara and Cook. Like, okay, how about this, bro? Kamara on a Monday as your anchor? That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like hopefully it doesn't go to shit for you. But say you're down 20 and you have Kamara on a Monday, I feel good about that. It's Kamara. You know what I mean? I understand though where he's coming from here, that this is a question because Kamara has been super hit or miss. I mean, Taysom Hill is not the best for Kamara at all, but it's a team that wants to run the ball. That Sean Payton is smart enough to know that they got to run the ball as a team. You know what I mean? There's going to be an attempt to do so. Don't count last week as anything. Buccaneers are a top 3 run defense.
Well, as of right now, the Dolphins are a top 7 run defense. So
What were they at? They're at 7.
Yeah, tough matchups. Tough matchup either way for Kamara, but I gotta go with Kamara though too.
I'm probably trying to get all 3 of them in there though. To be honest with you, because
figuring out a way.
Yeah, because the pimp against Detroit, I want a piece of that.
Let me see. What up, King Marcelo said after the way Najee played, would it be dumb to start Sony or Javante over him? I'm not gonna say it's dumb, because I mean not
in Kansas City. You know, Kansas City, they have been moving up in the running back. In the run defense rankings, right? Especially in this last month, it kind of actually all started with when they played the Cowboys. They really turned that thing around coming off the bye week. But I do want to say, you know, Najee just gets hella volume, and Tennessee is a top 3 run defense, right? Am I knowing this? Am I remembering this correctly?
Let me see.
Because I know in the first 50, it's been
no,
15
you're wrong.
weeks.
No, you're wrong.
Okay, because I know I saw them in one of the metrics.
Here's how you're wrong. They're the number 1 run defense right now against fantasy football running back.
So no, because remember we were talking on the phone earlier, and I was talking about how you're going to play, Jeff Wilson against me.
Yeah.
And then I was saying, I'm playing Steamboat. He's doing the same thing, and I'm like, I like that you guys are playing me again. So I did have it right. I shouldn't have said top 3. I knew they were number 1 because they after last week they jumped over the Saints, and they jumped over who else who's 2 and 3?
Saints are number 2, Cowboys are number 3, Colts number 4, Washington number 5.
Yeah, the Cowboys is skewed though because they haven't played against too many good running backs, so that's the one that's kind of fugazi there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah,
that's for sure. And what up, Devin? What's going on, bro? So what up, fellas? Good to see you back, Hustler. Hell yeah, bro. We're here grinding. Let me get you that extra entry into the Darius Leonard signed jersey giveaway. We are super close. I've been so out of it that I haven't had a chance to see where we are subscriber wise. Let's see. So we still need 40 more. We're super close. There's a lot of people falling off like the plague right now, but we are very, very close.
We are in the apocalypse.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Nigel, what up, bro? Said got that Sunday Night Miracle opponent at Brady and Evans last week. Hell yeah, man.
Hey, you know what I mean? I survived a lot of my Brady teams, and I moved on. And then there's one I had a bye week, and I was just like, ooh, good shit. And I had the bye week.
I got Brady in a lot of leagues, especially those 3 QB leagues. And I would have lost a grip of those leagues, and I'm the number 1 seed in I think 3 out of 4 of those leagues. And I definitely would have lost first round.
I love angry Brady right now. And I know they took his weapons away because of injury, but we've also seen Brady just do everything with just Gronk for years.
Yeah,
in New England. You know what I mean?
Antonio said you trust Connor this week if he plays. Trust is such a strong word, especially on Wednesday. I think
against Indy.
Yeah,
that's the one thing is that we're gonna need. I would much rather feel comfortable if he's a full go or at least limited 3 days in a row. I know he was a DMP yesterday. What do we have status on his practice today? We should by this point, right?
Yeah, let me go check.
And while you go find that, the reason I'm bringing this up is because they are the number 4 run defense right now. And but if we can get Connor worked into that passing game some more, you know what I mean? Because that's where Connor was really eating. He was averaging 9 yards of reception, bro. You know what I'm saying? And now Chase Edmonds comes back. How does that affect it? You know what I mean?
Yep, hasn't practiced today or yesterday.
I think with Connor. I don't put him in the stud category now that he's hurt because this was kind of like a lot of people put him in the same category as a Joe Mixon, a guy that they just remember always being hurt. This year, he wasn't hurt until he was. And now it's like, I'm back to viewing him that way. Where you drafted him, you know what I'm saying? He's probably been like, your second or third option, third more than likely, right? So,
Yep.
And if you've had to play him because other guys you've had have got hurt, you know what I mean? I mean, just you got to get some contingency plans, man, because it's hard to bank on him. It is that the Saturday game?
I believe so, because they wouldn't have a practice report on Tuesday.
Yeah, so him being a DMP yesterday was their Wednesday on the week. That's a big deal. You know what I mean? And if he's not practicing today, which is basically their Thursday, because Friday is going to be their walkthrough. You know what I mean? And this historically, this is a team. Only DeAndre Hopkins is the player they had where they wouldn't let him practice all week and he would go. I don't put Connor in that category.
What up, Stu? What's going on, bro?
What up, Stu? Stu, I'm rooting for you, Stu. You knocked me. And shout out to your man, Schmitty, Stu, because that's your man right now. Because I'm hot at Schmitty, too. Knocked me out of the Pace League. Kyler, here's my team. Kyler Murray, Mike Evans, Ayuk, Chubb, Harris, and Najee Harris. And then I also had Damian Harris, who was hurt. So in place of him, I played Mooney. And it's a 14-team super a single QB, and it's literally 2 receivers, 2 running backs, 1 flex, and 1 quarterback, and that's kicker defense. And I think I put up like 60 points, bruh. And he beat me by he only put up like 85 points on me too, because it was ugly for everyone. But
Every league I've seen Schmitty play in, I play in multiple leagues with him, and his teams weren't really that good.
Not at all. And he had basically the same team in a lot of his joints. But I'll tell you this much: that league was awesome. I mean, T-Pain was in that joint. Darren Waller. Danny Woodhead. Who was it? Heath Cummings from CBS Sports. Michael Florio, Marcus Grant. But outside of Michael Florio and T-Pain and Heath Cummings, because he was number 1. It was me and him number 1 and 2 most of the year. And then all the rest of the fantasy analysts, all the celebrities just kind of just gave up at one after another at one point. So Schmitty was able to actually go from bottom 3 to get in there as the 6th seed and knock me out in the first round.
Damn.
Yeah, man. And it was it's one of those 14 teams where they regrettably didn't tell anyone that 8 teams are getting in. So I didn't get a bye week.
Damn.
Being the 2nd seed. Yeah. And that's one of those things I would have advocated against, because it should have been that way. You know what I mean? But yeah, it is what it is. I really just wanted to take it home for the Dream to Walk Foundation, because they raised a ton of money over there, and that would have been awesome.
Yeah,
and I would have been comfortable knowing that the money's going to a good place. It's all good. It's all good causes, but just knowing that I actually got it there. I don't trust nobody.
Yep. And Bogey said, Stu said, good season, Bogey. Thanks for the support.
Oh man, thank you, brother. You know what I mean, for letting me represent your charity, man. And next year, man, we're not done, Stu. I'm just one of my missions now. I'm gonna get a Dream to Walk title one of these days, bro.
Oh yeah. And Chase said, thanks for all your help. PPR, I'm starting Kamara, Patterson, and Flex and Rojo. Bench is Gage, Barkley, Henderson. Should I make any changes? I'm saying
I like
no
Gage
right now.
I think I like Gage. Slightly. Fuck no, he'd be too heavy on the Falcons too, because I can go right quick. I like the outside receivers against Detroit. I want everyone to make sure that they view Detroit as kind of a blip against Arizona last week. You know what I mean? That's, even though they've been playing these teams hard all year and playing them close, they do give up splash plays to receivers, and they give up a ton of yards on the ground. But I'm going to keep it how he has it there. I slightly like Cordero over Barkley.
So Lions are one of the worst, second worst against the run, and then they're 14th best against the wide receivers.
Yeah, so middle of the pack. Yeah, but above it, yeah, they're in the top half, at the back of the top half against the receivers, but also too, man, when you're giving up like what did Kyler Murray pass for last week? You know what I mean?
I do not even remember.
Yeah, and yeah, so that's another thing too. Is like a lot of the game, or even the game he had against Lamar Jackson, or they had against Jackson. Like there's a couple big games where they blank these quarterbacks, so that could be skewing their numbers.
Yeah, and Chase says my tight end is Pitt, so that'd be interesting starting 3 Falcons. Yeah, I wouldn't put all my eggs in the Falcons basket, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to get off of Russell Gage with that target market share, but you know what I mean? It's also like trusting Gage is like trusting MVS. Like, you know what I mean? You almost have to play them all the time to get those games.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Here we go. I was saving one of the good pieces of news until the end. I mean, we don't know how good it is, but Deandre Swift and Jamal Williams both returned to practice today.
Wow, they got my phone call. I was calling the motherfuckers, B, because I need Swift. I lost Mitchell. I need everything against Steamboat. Fuck you, Steamboat.
Hell yeah.
But you know what's pathetic about me and Steamboat? This is so pathetic, and it's funny because that's why I like telling people this. When I play him, there's no shit talking. It's like this pathetic attempt to reverse jinx everything. Oh man, look at your matchup, bro. You got it, bro. Enjoy your Super Bowl run, bro. You got it. Like it's just this constant barrage. No, man. Hey, man, you have a great day. You rest easy because you're gonna win, Bogard. No. You're gonna win, Steamboat. Look at it. And just all day, and it's been a run-on joke for years. You know what I'm saying? And I swear, like it works.
Is it how much you can ping pong it back and forth?
Yeah.
It's usually the rule of thumb is like I throw it to you, you throw it back, I throw it back once, and then it's kind of too much. But is it like seeing who can keep throwing it back and forth the longest?
Like I told, like the Jeff Wilson thing. He had dropped Jeff Wilson like a month ago. And then I picked him up. I'm the Mitchell guy. And then he's like, oh man, I made a bad mistake of dropping Wilson, this and that. And then I'm assuming Mitchell's going to come back in a couple weeks for me. So I had to make a move. I had to do what I do. I dropped Jeff Wilson. And then he ends up with Wilson. And Mitchell's been gone for the last 2 weeks. And then I'm like, oh, I'm telling man, you know what? That's destiny for you, bro. You got Wilson. Now he's going to tear me up against the Titans. And he's like, yeah, I really did enjoy that you dropped him, and then I ended up back with him. And I'm like, ha ha! There it is.
So funny.
He faltered. You know what I mean? He was supposed to ping pong it back. And then he realized it, and then he was like, oh, but maybe he's a trap and this and that. And then, because in my head, I hope it's a trap to a degree.
We like them. We like those traps. All right. I think we're good to go for today. I'm starting to feel this sickness a little bit.
Man.
Before we get out of here, got to remind everyone, JC Money threw it out there, movies and munchies tonight. Oh yeah, Christmas movie edition. So make sure you guys come through. The YouTube link should be up within the hour. I'm going to start working on it right now as soon as we get off this show. Going to be super dope. We're breaking down a whole bunch of Christmas movies. I'm going to make sure we get a couple clips, on there as well. Just keep it real nostalgic. Yeah, I think I'm going to try to do some mushrooms.
8 o'clock.
8
o'clock Eastern,
5
Pacific, and definitely go out, pour you some real tall glasses, some holiday spirit, roll you up some Christmas tree, you know what I mean? Pop you a cap or a stem or 3, you know what I mean? And come rock with us, man. This is gonna be the first of our brand new series. I'm excited, man. Christmas, give me money.
Nigel said, is Craig Reynolds droppable now? I want to hear more news, but I got to hear more news first, but I think it is going to be, it's looking that way. I mean, if both guys come back, I doubt Craig Reynolds is going to be too involved.
Come back for Atlanta. And this is why I say don't drop Craigie yet, because if none of them motherfuckers go, you know what I'm saying? Even if it's not Swift and it's just Williams and Craig, I think Craig has shown enough that against this Atlanta, his 10 to 12 carries might be flex worthy, especially if there is no Swift or Williams. You know what I mean? And tomorrow will probably tell us more. Because if Williams gets into a full go, I'd be like, nah, don't fuck with Craig.
David said I tried to reverse jinx on my opponent once and I lost by 1 point. That'd be rough. I mean, that'd be rough. Anytime you lose by 1 or 2 points or whatever, that's just rough all around.
You want the trickiest thing about the reverse jinx is you have to first reverse jinx yourself, because whatever you say, you actually have to kind of believe it. Like, oh man, so-and-so's Travis Kelce's gonna go crazy on me this week, bruh. You know what I mean? Like, you really genuinely believe it. Then if he doesn't, you've successfully reverse jinxed it. That's kind of how it works. Like, last week I wasn't feeling that. There was no way to reverse jinx Kelce.
Yeah, we may have to change the name of the show to Movies, Munchies, and Mushrooms. Hell yeah. I said, now that sounds like a good Wednesday night. Yes, sir.
And just call it, You know what I'm saying?
Nice. And Austin said, I got an 8-hour car drive. Hell yeah, man. Well, we will see you there, bro. And Antonio said, me and Stu in the Dream to Walk, and then me and Hustler in the WWF 1. Oh, that's going to be a tough match in Dynasty. Antonio, the number 1 seed. I barely kind of snuck into the playoffs. Like, man, this is one of those ones where
you got Kelce over there, huh?
Oh yeah, and Mahomes.
That's right. Yeah, because of him, huh?
Yep. No, not Antonio in this one. No.
Okay.
No, this one it was someone else. I had the number 12 pick, and I traded up for Mahomes, and then damn it, who did he? He took
funny
Deandre.
How invested I am in other dynasty teams that aren't even mine, because I watch the content, the recaps. You know what I mean?
These are dope leagues.
Yeah.
Thanks, Stu. He said, get better, Huss. Hell yeah, I'm gonna go lay down right now and just create the stream on my phone. And Ronald said, I never get munchies on shrooms. Yeah, but how about those walls and movies? Hell yeah, moving walls and movies. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Like, I'll be watching a movie and everything around me is going nuts. You know what I mean? Like, all the peripherals, like the walls are just breathing and cascading, and fucking awesome.
I remember one time, probably not the best movie to watch on mushrooms, but I watched Blow on mushrooms. And I just remember, because you already know, everything slows down. Like, every 10 minutes just feels like an hour or whatever. But I swear that like 10 years, like probably more than that, I felt like my entire lifetime passed watching George Young be a kid go to like George Young being like 70 years old.
Right? Just old and senile. You know, my daughter's coming today. Like, yeah, George. Just every day. That was, you know what's funny? That was one of those ones in quarantine. My girl never saw it. So in quarantine, we're just going through all these, we're going through, Leo movies and Denzel movies, and I'm like, we're going on our Johnny Depp little rampage, and we're watching Blow, and she thought that was so sad at the end. You know what I mean? And I was just like, well, yeah, baby, if you think like drug dealers are like live luxurious life, fucked up shit happens to them, especially when you're on some kingpin ass shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Hell yeah. And Nigel said Madison droppable. I mean, I'm gonna say no, but it's very fucking close. Like, I mean.
No, you know why? Say you drop Madison, then you go to the Super Bowl, and the person who you're playing has Cook, but just lost Cook this past week, or this weekend for some reason. Maybe, you know what I mean? And he happened to get Madison. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you don't want shit like that. Like,
you load your pockets with guys like that right now. Because if Cook is okay after this week, then he's one of the guys you drop next week, but
if you're looking across your matchup right now and your waivers are open, right? And you're looking across your matchup and that person has Joe Mixon or that person has Austin Eckler, you go get Justin Jackson and Samaje Perine. Not because you're going to play them necessarily, but because you don't want your opponent to, you want your opponent wounded as fuck, then you go in there and stomp them out.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is par for the course.
Peace out, Antonio. And Ronald said stupid shit like The Princess Bride is great on shrooms. Hell yeah. Just
Ace Ventura movies, especially part 1 for me. Because part 2, I just go straight to the part where he's fighting Tommy Davidson.
Yeah.
In the tribe. And it's like, bro, like, I don't know. That's like, I want to laugh till my temples hurt. And that's usually what happens.
Yeah, that shit's so funny. Like, don't just stand there, throw me a spear. The other leg.
Oh shit! And then he throws the second one. Oh man! And Oh man, that shit has me dying every time, bro. But yeah, and that's another thing too. Mushrooms, and if you're trying to self-search, you know what I mean? I prefer just the quiet nothingness and just by myself. But like when I want to have a good time and I'm in a good mood, like when we do the stuff on Wednesdays, you know what I'm saying? Like we're like, tonight I'm gonna eat some mushrooms, have a good ass time. You know, because you want to be in a good vibe. You want to, you know what I mean? No one is stressed out in life and it's like, you know what, I'm gonna do some mushrooms right now and dwell on it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, that's not we're not recommending that. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. All right. We're gonna get up out of here. Bogard, let them know where to find you at on the way out.
Hey, per use, the earth is my turf. And you can find me frolicking through the mushroom fields tonight. Luigi, I'm starting Luigi movie podcast. Also, we might do a surprise Christmas episode of Playmakers. It's in the air right now. If not, Playmakers will be back for one more episode before the year is up. And yeah, check me out. Subscribe to the GMM Network on YouTube. And yeah, the movie podcast. I just want to reiterate that because that's going to be a blast, man.
Going to be super fun. And Nigel said, should I waste my waiver on Huntley? Opponent has Lamar Jackson. Hell yeah. If your opponent has Lamar, yes. That's all I need to know. And should I pick up St. Brown to potentially replace Hill? Yes.
I'm getting St. Brown. Listen, because then, you know, listen, the Huntley thing, that manager, if he doesn't already have, oh no, he said he has the claim still. Okay. I would look where the other managers placed that too, his waiver priority, because that could dictate my decision.
Yeah.
I mean, and then, you know, here's another thing too, man. Sometimes if it's a single QB, if you can't grab all the QBs, man, he's going to find one regardless. So you know what I mean? Like maybe him having Huntley might not be the worst thing for you.
I mean, Huntley's looked pretty solid over the last couple weeks. And
David. But you know who hasn't? Joe Burrow. And I don't know if this game is going to be shootout, more so, drag it out and, slow game, because I mean, that's just how the Bengals have looked. They're not going to allow Chase to put up 200 yards again before their bye week.
Yep. All right, guys, we're out. Just make sure you go to fantasyfootballhustler.com. You can go find me everywhere. Go subscribe everywhere on all the podcasts. You can get signed up on Super Draft Pro there as well. We'll see you in 2.5 hours or so. Peace out.
Peace.